what I'm freaking talking about.
Fireworks, folks, new leader, 17 pounds and 5 ounces for Hunter Sales, the head coach of the Carson Newman fishing team.
All right, guys, what's up? Just got back from ICAST, and you know the talk of the town this year has been fuzzy baits. That started a couple years ago with the OSP dice, and it's evolved in so many different ways. And so I just wanted to talk really quick about a line of baits from Z-Man that's coming out, and some of my favorite ways to employ them. Just got back from the St. Lawrence River. This was something I actually started doing a couple years ago up on Lake Huron for the Saginaw Bay NPFL tournament. I was messing around with a skirted stick bait, and it's really dang special. The way that fish react to that. There's a couple different reasons why. Everybody's asking those questions now. Hey, what's the deal with the dice? What's the deal with these fuzzy baits? When do you throw them? How do you throw them? And why do the fish bite them? So I'm gonna kind of, before we dive into that, I'm gonna show you a couple. This is a Z-Man Fuzzy TRD rigged up there. I think that's the Hot Snakes color. They haven't officially, these aren't available yet. They just dropped them at ICAST. And then this is the Z-Man Fuzzy Nuggets rigged up on a drop shot there. Just a little shad colored bait. And then my personal favorite, the Z-Man Fuzzy Bugs. And that's that's really similar to the style of bait that I was throwing last year on Saginaw Bay. And so I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I think these work. There's a couple different reasons. This is just Hunter's opinion. It's not scientific. I don't know if this is backed by fact, but man, this is what I think. So fish are curious creatures, right? I mean, it's like people use the reference all the time talking about your cats and how they'll react to a laser pointer. You'll be able to drag something in front of them, and everybody wants to throw something the fish haven't seen. But I think more than anything, fish are wired to eat prey, right? Whether it's a dragonfly, whether it's a dang, a spider that falls in the water or whatever. And these fuzzy baits, they see that hit the water, and something in it just triggers that natural feeding instinct. And then the second thing that I think is really important, if you look at like this fuzzy bugs here, for example, that's rigged on a straight shank drop shot hook there, but you can't even really see that hook. I know the fishing line's kind of in the way there, but you can't even really see that hook with all the different jig skirt material and stuff that's going on. And so I think a lot of times in today's, heavily pressured environment, super clear water, like up on the St. Lawrence, those fish get used to seeing the big hook sticking out the back of your, whether it's a flatworm or a different drop shot bait or whatever, they're used to seeing that hook. And so these skirt material, it definitely hides that hook a little bit. And so, like I have these rigged up on a drop shot. That's one of my favorite ways to fish one of these skirted baits, and those fish a lot of times will come bite it even before it gets to the bottom, because that skirt material really slows down the rate of fall. And so I like to throw it on like a 3/16 drop shot weight, let that bait fall super slow, and they come and get it. Another thing I like to do around the spawn, this fuzzy nuggets here, if you'll shorten that leader up, say to like right here, and make a little short power shot, something that size, just a 2-inch or so leader, then that bait will actually sit right above those fish's heads in the bed. And something about those legs going crazy, they look like a little bug in their bed. They can't stand it. And then, obviously the fuzzy TRD, you can't beat it. Just a Ned rig profile. It'll sit down there in the bottom. Elastec always sits straight up. And if you watch it in the water or swimming pool, what these little appendages do with that Z-Man, it's super buoyant. It's always working. And so, just something the fish haven't seen. Everybody's asking questions. What's the deal with the dice craze? How do I throw them? Those are some of my favorite ways. And there are a couple other sneaky ways that I've been playing around with locally on how to rig these fuzzy baits up, but I'm not ready to share those with you guys quite yet. So hopefully that teaches you about what the fuzzy baits are, why they bite them, and how to throw them. Give that a try next time you head out fishing.